Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Nut Closer Show. As always, Scott Carson here. Excited to be with you today. In today's subject, I want to talk a little bit about on this episode about how to avoid the constant bombardments out there. All right. Look, and this is very easy to do. People get overwhelmed all the time. All right. If you're anywhere close to me, I know you're probably getting a ton of emails and a ton of posts. And when you've been marketing or posting yourself out there, especially on LinkedIn or other groups, I'm sure you're bombarded with a lot of distractions. Like, oh, here's the event, or here's my webinar, or here's the conference, or here, come to this thing, come to that thing. And it can be really, really distracting. It can really keep you from having a lot of success in your business, especially when you start adding in all the Facebook groups and all the meetup groups and things like that. Your email will be bombarded, okay? And sometimes you just want the noise to stop, right? Especially when you're trying to be focused. You don't want the outside distractions, but it's very easy to get distracted by outside influences. I think we can all agree to that. God knows I have enough coming at me. I'm sure you guys all do as well. So what I thought I would do is spend a little bit of time on this episode of the Nut Closer Show, okay? Just talking about some of the ways to help you kind of slice through the distractions to find things that make sense for you and things that don't make sense. Okay. All right. So a couple of things for you. Good morning, Laura. Good morning, everybody out there. First things first, you have to be focused on something. All right. You got to be focused on probably one thing at the most. Now, if you're one of these people that love to go to every type of training, every time of workshop, or all across the country and different things, you're never going to achieve success, period. Flat out, you're never going to find success. And this goes back to my background when I first got into real estate investing. I was fortunate enough to go and attend a lot of events as a vendor, where I was getting business for my mortgage company, okay? And we were traveling every other weekend to a different convention, especially the Ron LeGrand Convention series, where it'd be anywhere from 500 to 1,500 people at an event. Okay, so we'd be bombarded. But that was our one focus, was going as a mortgage company. All right. And I would see people signing up for the master's program that Ron used to provide, which would be like 8 workshops over 8 educators. And once you went through, you got your master's in real estate, basically. And he had for different speakers along the way. So if you signed up for this package, you got all these workshops. And then as I started coaching with people, working with other investors, I would see people like, oh, I'd spend time with them like, well, I got to go. I can't have you stay Friday because I got to jump on a plane because I got to go to this other workshop. Or I got to go to this workshop on trust. Or I got to go to this workshop on flipping. Or this workshop on wholesaling. Or this workshop on notes. Or this workshop on asset protection. Or this workshop on whatever, okay? How to use my IRA. And I first and foremost, I'm going to tell you that education is always a great thing. That's my first caveat. But secondly, if the stuff is you're going and learning on is not helping you immediately with what you're trying to get focused on, it's only going to deter your success. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, in the book Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill and Sharon Lecter, it talks about how the devil loves to distract those that are successful. It causes us to drift, right? We all drift. Everybody drifts. I'm guilty of it. I guarantee Steve Jobs was guilty of it. You know, everybody's guilty of drifting from it at some point. It just is what it is. But the more you can be focused and the less that you drift, the more obviously positive things are going to happen. The more you can work on things taking place. And I drift from time to time. There's things I get more excited about the podcast, or I get more excited about the events. We drift. My biggest goal is I try to use my calendar to help me stay focused, and my goals, my KPIs, my annual goals, what I want to accomplish, in front of me as that carrot that basically dangles in front of me to keep me going in the right direction. All right. And so years ago, roughly, I was like, okay. And I remember this conversation in late 2009 about, okay, I was doing notes, I was doing a variety of other things, but I was traveling on all sorts of meetup groups, trying to go to workshops, things like that. I finally had to go, Calgon, take it away. All right. Calgon, take it away. Save me from all this distraction, because I was doing everything else besides finding success. Okay. And so one big thing that I focused on, I said, okay, let me do this one thing It'll help me stay focused. And I started a challenge. I started a blog. It was called 100K in 100 Days. My challenge to make $100,000 in 100 days. And I got so busy being focused on that one thing, going and doing real estate, going and looking at real estate, going and looking at notes, going and making offers on things and focus on it. I wrote up my success, or what I focused on, my good, the bad, the ugly, my wins, my losses at the end of each day in a little blog or a video blog. And I started to start posting it. Every day was a new day, day 1, day 50. Well, by the time I got to day like 45, I was so busy being bombarded with investors wanting to work with me or deals, I did not have time to do the blog anymore. It's one of the best things that I've ever done. And what's funny is that helped me stay focused on what I needed to get done. Okay. Now, I know at that point I was divorced, no kids. The only thing I had was Princess and Mr. Bill, my gray tabby, right? The three of us were joined together to knock some things out. What I'm trying to get at here more so than anything else is if you are feeling bombarded, like I just had a great call with Melanie Jacobs. I have to give her and Phil a lot of great credit. Get ready to close on their first deal. Call me for questions. Call me for coaching. I'm always glad to do that. And she had this great, she's like, Scott, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed with all these different things that are popping, all these events, and we feel like we have to go to. We're all into it. And I'm like, okay, here's an event or two to go to. And what else are you going to? Well, we went to this, went to that. So, okay, do yourself a favor. If you're gung-ho on one thing, stick to that one thing. Don't add 20 million things, or don't look at your schedule and add so many other things. You know, I've always been a big advocate of going to your local real estate club. I still think that's a valuable aspect to going to your local RIA meetings and networking with your local audience. I think that's phenomenal. All right. And in some parts of the country, you could go to a different meetup group every night. Like in Houston or Dallas, there's basically a meetup going on almost every day of the week. Okay. Here's what I would highly recommend that you do. Okay. Just go to one thing a week, one meetup a week. All right. And preferably the evening meetups are going to be the more valuable ones for you versus the day. The reason why I hate going to lunch meetups is it takes so much time out of your day. It takes you time traveling to there. It takes you hanging out there for an hour, hour and a half, and then you got a half hour afterwards. Nothing ever ends. It's at least a 2.5 hour part of your day that gets shot. Okay. All right. So the thing you got to realize is you got to make sure you get the most out of what you're going to. All right. Now, one of the things that we like to do is obviously, so we have our calendar here and it's going on the wall and figuring out where we're doing, what we're going to this year. Is there are a lot of events we get invited to. You know, we get invited to, Bob Zachariah just had a great event out in Tucson with his event and what he does. And we were planning on going to it, but we were going to a different event. Okay. I'm going up to Rochester, New York this weekend to speak at an event for a new conference up there. I'm excited to be going to that. I'm going to it. We'll see how it goes. What you have to start doing as you start growing, you have to start peeling back the other things that you go to. Start unsubscribing from things. I hate to say this, but you have to kind of start manage your schedule a little bit because you're going to be busy, focused on doing deals. If you're constantly going to meetup groups every night or every day, you're not getting any time to put any of what you're learning into action. Okay. And that's the biggest thing. If you're paying money to go to a workshop and you come home and you don't take action on what you learn, you pretty much just wasted the weekend or wasted that money and that time. And that's the biggest tragedy. Okay. So I'm very particular about things that I go to. I want to make sure it's worth this one, it's worth my time to go and learn something that's going to be impactful on my business now. And two, there's going to be I'm going to be surrounded with people that I want to be surrounded with. People that are going to help me take my business to the next level. Okay. And over time, those events are going to change for you guys and gals out there. All right. They're going to change. All right. So like I used to go every year when I first started off in the note business, I was going to a lot of Ron LeGrand events. I was also going to a lot of local meetup groups and stuff like that. I wasn't really going to any of the conferences. And this is back at the time when really there was only 2 conferences annually for the most part. You had Paper Source put on by Bill Macaro, okay, and you had the Noteworthy event out in Vegas put on by Jack Sternberg back in the day. Okay, both were good events. At the time, Paper Source was a smaller event, maybe 200 people. Okay, At the peak, Noteworthy was like 800 people. Okay. And Noteworthy would change. It would either be a lot of great content one year or kind of a pitch fest a little bit. And pitch fests aren't bad because if there's still plenty of people there, you can make it worth your time in networking and talking and pick one or two things and just go from there. Okay. Paper Source focused on seconds, owner financing, a lot of that stuff. It's evolved. Now, as Noteworthy has declined and gone away now, Paper Source has grown. There's 400, 500 people at it. And of course, you have Note Camp with what we do. Over the last 3 years has popped up. And by the way, Note Camp is just under a month out, November 15th to the 18th. You can go to notecamp.live, get your tickets for $3.99. All right, notecamp.live to get your tickets for $3.99 right now. 3.5 days of content, actions, marketing, and profit generating nuggets for you. But that's been a great event for people to go to because they don't have to travel. They can do it online. They can do it from their own home. It's recorded. Boom, we throw it on a podcast, which has, I think, about 10,000 downloads now for just a special event. Great. There. Eddie Speed has popped up. Obviously, we had Bob Repass on a couple weeks ago talking about the Note Expo. Eddie puts on a good event. That's coming up November 2nd and 3rd, I believe. Right? A couple hundred people at 400, 500 people at a bunch of vendors. Look, the biggest thing I'm going to tell you right now is when you look at your calendar, you could go to something every weekend. You could go to something almost every day. All right, you could attend something every night, whether it's a meetup, a webinar, whatever. What you have to do more than anything else is figure out what you're really focused on and get rid of the distractions. Okay? Get rid of the distractions. There's things that are important to our business. And there's 2 events that I go to that are very important to our event, very important. Okay? Very important to what we do in business here. And that is our Quest Trust or Quest IRA, one of our biggest partners on different things. We love to support them in anything they're doing. So when they have the Quest Expo, we'll be there. We have no problem being there. Aaron Young, Megan Cole, everybody over at Laughlin Associates, one of our biggest vendors. When they have a Magnify Your Wealth, we're glad to be there. Anytime I network with 100 entrepreneurs, it's a great capital raising event. And I also learn every time I go something there, I learn something from the attorneys that's valuable to my asset protection as well with Kevin Day and everybody else is there. All right. That has have a biggest impact. It's had a huge impact on our business and our structuring and things like that too. So those are 2 big things that we look at. Okay, what are those dates for those calendars or for those events? Let's put them on the calendar and we schedule around those. Okay. Another thing that we look at too for our events is, okay, the marketing that we do. Because part of the reason that we've gotten success where we're at with the podcast, with our business, is the fact that we know how to market. And I think we spend more time at marketing conventions than we actually do at note conventions. And some people are like, well, why is that kind of asked backwards? No, not really. For us, our biggest thought has been that to be smart in what we do. Yes, it's great to go out and network with people and people that we know and peers, stuff like that. But with us doing so much video and networking online and with our Monday night webinars that we do, we get a lot of interaction from our tribe. Okay. And for me to go out to New Jersey to just Mortgage Expo or going to when it was in California, yeah, it's going to go once or twice, but when it's the same people, look, it doesn't do me any good. Don't get me wrong. I love my folks. I love our peeps. Okay. Love them. Okay. But my time is extremely valuable. And if I can leverage my time to help me exponentially grow my business or grow what we're doing, that's more valuable to me than going out and just hanging out and being a good old boy. I'm going to say that I'm the smartest person in the room, but being one of the smartest people in the rooms does not help me for the most part. I want to be one of the dumbest people in the rooms to help people out. And some people may take that as arrogant. Hey, that's fine. You can think what you want to think, but I'm trying to make sure that what I deliver and what we deliver here at WCN, and we do with our deals, is going to help impact you guys out there. So it's best that I'm going and honing my skills and being focused on where I want to be, where I want to accomplish. And the same thing is going to happen to you. So Michael Sloan says 1 meetup a week is very smart. Yeah. And honestly, if you're still working a full-time job, 1 meetup a week might be the only thing you're able to get to for 2 days or out of your 10 hours going. And that's a chunk of it, just going out and networking and plugging in. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Levi says, would you recommend starting a local group here if there isn't an active group nearby? And what Levi means by there is Lubbock. Okay. You have to, If there's not an active group, when you're brand new at something, here's what I would tell you, Levi. Anybody out there that's brand new, okay? If you're brand new at something, and by brand new I mean less than a year into something, I don't think I would literally look at starting a group. Starting a group by itself, that takes some time. It's difficult to get people in speaking. It's difficult to get scheduled in. And then when it happens, it takes away from your main focus. So what I would do if I were you, Levi, is I would not start a local group. If anything, what I would do is just set up a one night a week, we're meeting somewhere for dinner, a networking dinner. That's what I would do. I wouldn't set up a full meetup group. What I would do is like what Donovan, Lucio, or Chad Raju have done in Houston, or a few other people are doing in different parts of the country. Hey, we're going to meet for dinner here. Okay? Come on out. Let's talk note investing. Maybe go to meetup.com, set up there. But hey, once a month, have a dinner that's just focused on that. Make it very simple. Make it casual. Make sure that you don't have to put a lot of effort into it. Because initially, when you have a small group, and the cool thing is meetup.com will help people attract you to you. But set it up sometime that makes sense for you to go out there. And I would not do it on Monday nights. Would not do it on Friday nights. I would do it Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday evening, or maybe do it on a Saturday. You're probably best to do it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night. Pick a place that you can grow into a little bit. Like I'll give you an example. Bill Griersmeyer is doing one with his core group in Columbus, the Central Ohio Real Estate Entrepreneurs Group. And he does it at a pizza place. And there'll be anywhere from 12 to like 30 people there. And when you start getting above 30 people, he's almost outgrown his spot there. Okay. But that's a good thing. It's going to be a little bit tighter than it is too big a spot. So find something that you can go network with, someplace buffet or something like that. That's going to help give you a lot of flexibility, people. But do it like once a month. I would not do it on a regular basis. I would not do it all the time because you end up spending more time on that than focused on your deals. And initially, you can plug in a lot of things online to do some things. Now, here's another thing. Yeah, learning to unsubscribe from things. When you start joining a lot of meetup groups for your real estate investments, to find investors, find vendors, find people that will buy your deals. One of the best things you can do is to unsubscribe from the email campaigns. Not unsubscribe from the group, but simply go change your email status. Maybe where you just get an email once a week versus once a day, or notices stuff like that. Because people go and post to discussion boards or get bombarded with messages, and it fills up your inbox. You don't want to do it. You may also want to do that with Basecamp group. If you're part of our Basecamp group, especially for Note Camp or the virtual workshop, stuff like that, you may want to go change your email settings where it just delivers one email a day or one email a week for you. Okay. So, but take a look at your calendar, because that's what we do. Here's exactly what we look at our calendar. What are our big events that we want to schedule around? When do we want to have our masterminds? When do we want to have our workshops? When do we want to do our fast track trainings? And before too long, our schedule gets pretty rapidly filled in to the point where we're like, okay, we need to take some time off for ourselves. We need to take some time to kick it and recharge, or take a vacation. And that's a big thing that I highly recommend you do. Pre-schedule your vacations. Go ahead, put them on the calendar. Take the time to go ahead and schedule them and put them there, because if you don't, you'll forget about it. You'll forget about it, and then you'll end up scheduling something over it. Okay. Always this time of year, we were always talking about Halloween because it's one of Steph's favorite holidays. Okay. Wants to go do some things. Okay. And I'm literally in like 2 months. Okay. Where do you want to go and plan it? Because otherwise it's going to get filled in. October is always a busy month. Heck, for like 4 years, I would almost spend the entire month of October in Las Vegas because there is multiple events. We go back to back to back to back there. Okay. Not anymore. We still may be going to Vegas though. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at here is take a look at your schedule. Take a look at your meetup meetings. Put them on your calendar. It'll help you start to time block and start looking and see how much time you have really in your week. Okay. I know people that were going into things every blinked out. Anyway, I know people are going to things every day for the most part. They weren't able to get any work done. Okay. Michael, thank you so much for that. That's exactly right. Clean up your inbox. Check out unroll.me. That's a great service to use to help you clean up your inbox. Thank you for sharing that. That's a phenomenal tool. Forgot all about that. But take a look at your month. Take a look at your week. Figure out where you're going to. One of the things that I would highly recommend, if you can, you want to obviously try to plug in once a month with other investors. For me, My once a month thing is either speaking somewhere or attending something once a month. Okay. That's a meetup group, me speaking or me attending. Okay. Conference. And that's what I try to limit it to. So that's 12. Now I'm trying here in the next year to be out speaking at least twice a month at different events or so. We're boosting some stuff up. Now, what has helped us tremendously is the podcast. Doing the podcast on a regular basis has helped us increase our tribe where I don't have to travel as much. We're seeing business come in from this. Funding sources, vendors. I've had 3 phone calls with 3 different vendors this morning that want to work with us or work with our students, which is great. It's easier versus me having to go to an event and stuff like that. Now, I may be going to Note Expo. I don't know yet. We still haven't not finalized. We're going to go here in 2 weeks. We're working on finalizing some things here. We get them done, great. Then we'll go. If we don't, we won't be going. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at is, yes, if I do go for Note Expo, I'll probably going for a day just to hit the vendors, just to talk with everybody there and go from there and meet with everybody and then come back. I'm not speaking there, which is okay. Just to go plug in and then head back. It's about all I really want to do anyway for the most part. But that's the thing I want you guys to look at. Look at your calendar. Realize, okay, there's some valuable things that you should be going to. And if you're a part of your local meetup group and your meetup group is having a topic that's not going to make sense for you, then don't go. Maybe show up, say hi, grab a few cards, and leave. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that because your hour is valuable. If you want to go home and spend the time with your wife and kids or your husband and kids or your kids and spouse or by yourself or go get a little bit more work done or hit the gym, do that. Capitalize on that extra hour or hour and a half you'd have. But be focused on where you want to go. Show up, make an appearance, because what happens with meetup groups, especially bigger ones, is if you start going to them, and I know many people are starting to look at their calendar, especially from January, February, are always the biggest events for meetup groups, okay? Especially real estate clubs, because people are all gung-ho about doing something. Go in, and you got to expect to be going to a meetup group at least probably 6 months straight, making an appearance there for at least 3 to 6 months before people will start recognizing you here, recognizing the thing. So that's the thing to keep in mind with that. Like, we're starting a local note closure group here locally in Austin. There's a couple little smaller groups. We're starting one officially for what we do with Quest Direct Quest offices next month, actually, here in Austin. I'm pretty excited about that. We're also leveraging the podcast for some of the places that we go out to kind of do a nationwide tour for the podcast and do some live events with audience interaction, some things like that. So trying to leverage our time and travel. So we're doing a podcast episode either the day before or the day of a meeting or doing the morning after to help leverage that all out to bring people together to help you kind of, I don't want to say kill 2 birds with 1 stone, but it's kind of that philosophy. We're trying to consolidate it so that we hit 2 things at once versus an event here, and trying to help us organize our schedule a little bit better. As always, one of our biggest things every week is Note Night in America. You know, we've developed that. This coming Monday will be our 100th episode of Note Night in America. Officially 100th episodes, so we start keeping track. We're pretty stoked about that. But that has been one of the most valuable ways for us to reach out. You know, when I first started doing webinars years ago, there'd be like 5 people on there or 1 person on there. But I always presented like there was 100 people on it. The reason I did that is because I always recorded it and I always put it out there. And so I always used that knowing it was going to be a 24-hour day, 7-day a week, 365-day a year advertising for me going forward. And what's beautiful is that philosophy, that mindset of the seeds that are planting are blossoming. So that's what you should look at. Look at what your schedule is. Look at what you're focused on. If you're going to do something on a regular basis, stick to your guns and make it a priority. If you're not going to do something on a regular basis, then network at something on a regular basis, but don't be such a professional network that you don't get anything done. And that's the thing that frustrates me the most. In the last couple of weeks, I've talked to quite a few people who are like, hey, I'm interested in your coaching or in your training. And I'm like, okay, you want to get on the phone to talk about it? And it's like, oh, yeah, I'm in another event here. I'm another event here. I'm another event here. I'm another event here. I'm like, okay, when do you have time to actually do deals? Because if you're constantly going from event to event to event, I honestly don't think you're a fit for a program. I just don't think you're a fit because you're never going to get anything done. And I don't want people spend money on a coaching program if they're not going to take the time and be dedicated to it and focused on what they want to accomplish. It's just not worth their time. It's not worth my time. And I don't want somebody spending money on something. I don't need that money for us, I'd rather it be, hey, they can put the goodwill somewhere else, but I don't want to water down our mastermind or our coaching with people that aren't going to take action on things. And I think it's a little bit different mentality than other people with their coaching programs. Many people are often, hey, take my card. Oh, I'll take your card anytime. And that's not the way I think for the most part. Questions, comments, concerns from anybody out there that's listening and watching out there on Facebook Live. As always, if you're listening to this on iTunes or any of the other podcast platforms, take a second, drop me an email at Scott@WeCloseNotes. Would really appreciate it if you also went over and left us a nice review as well. If you're watching this on a smart TV, I'd love to get an email from you at Scott@WeCloseNotes.com and tell me exactly what you watched it on. Did you watch it on iHeart? Did you watch it on Roku? Are you watching it on other smart TV programs so we can help kind of track that as well? We're pretty stoked. Some of the things that we've put in place in the last couple of weeks are already starting to see dramatic impact on our downloads, our views, and we're pretty stoked about that as we get the message out about this little thing called the Note Closer Show and note investing. All right. So best thing, quick little recap once again, pick a couple events. I would not be going to a major conference more than maybe twice or 3 times a year. Okay. Those I would probably focus on as brand new. Now we go to probably about 5 or 6 a year. We go to, 2, 3 for what we do in our business. And then we go to probably 2, 3 for marketing or podcasting. The little different people, different audience, which gives us some fresh ideas for what we want to bring back here to you guys. So like I said, we probably go to about 6 major conferences a year. If I were starting off, I would focus on 2 or 3 and then add from there or swap out. Like if you go to Note Expo this year and you didn't go to Noteworthy, I would not Noteworthy, sorry, Paper Source. I would maybe flop, go to Paper Source in April and then come to the Note Expo. If you've been to the Note Expo or you've been to Note Camp, great. Note Camp is available anywhere, which is great. So you don't travel a lot. That's why we keep it so affordable. But maybe I'm going to go somewhere else. That's totally fine. The idea here, more than anything else, I want you guys to know, is be respectful of your time. Be respectful that if you aren't having time to market or reach out to asset managers or reach out to your investors, you're probably out networking too much. Okay? You don't want to go out and burn yourself out traveling and then be upset because you spent all this money on travel, airfare, food, hotel bills, and things like that, and don't have anything to show for it. And so that's one of the big things too. Now, if you're going to an event, you always want to have some sort of action plan. Okay? And here's what my action plan has always been for years when I go to an event. Okay? When I go to an event, I look at 2 things. I either want to connect with people in the audience, and I'm just going as an attendee, not as a speaker, totally different aspect of things. Okay, I'm going as a speaker. I want to try to collect as much contact information from people as I can, so I can market to them afterwards. I have the same philosophy when I come to as attendee. I want to try to connect with as many people, means business cards or contact information, and I always want to find at least 1 or 2 vendors that can have a positive impact on my business almost immediately, whether it's a service, like we've done with Madison, or it's something that's the vendor provides a tool that we can use. Like our biggest thing we used at our traffic and conversion summit last year, Steph found an amazing company. It's like the Canva for video, and I've used it a couple times. I have not spent as much time on there as I need to, but it's a phenomenal tool. We'll be spending a lot of time on it here this next year. But that was a great resource for me. Also, great resource was finding somebody else help with some marketing. Okay. So the thing I want to get at when I go to an event, I'm looking at the vendors. Okay. Who's a vendor there? I want to talk with many people, see what's going on. But the vendors also, if you have a good vendor relationship, they also have a great network. They can also help market. They can help spread the word on what you're doing too. So vendors are one of the most important things that you want to buddy up with and friends and help them market and sing their praises. Sing their praises. I had a vendor reach out to me day before yesterday. Hey, Scott, I'm speaking at an event or trying to get speaking. Would you mind giving me a testimonial video? I'm like, oh, sure. Boom, 2-minute little testimonial video, send out to them. If I can help them because they're helping me, it's a win-win. All right. It's a win-win across the board. Okay. So when you go to an event, I always try to, and I pay attention to who's asking questions. Okay. If you're going to a big conference, you're going to have Q&A session. I always want to pay attention who's asking questions, because if I hear a really good question and it makes sense, I want to go track that person down. All right. I want to go track that person. I also do a lot of badge reading on things, who they are, what are they doing. Many of the big events will have an app. They have a mobile event app, stuff like that, which is great for the bigger events. I'll scroll through that. That's a great way to pull contact information, add people to your database too, if people are like-minded. So I'll get on the app, say, hey, who's in real estate or who's doing this, or I'll post photos, and then those that respond or like it, I'll connect with them either socially on the app or via LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, just to connect to expand my audience. Because that's really what this is all about. When you're out networking, is expanding your tribe, but you want to expand it with like-minded individuals, not people that aren't going to waste your time, not people that aren't going to do anything, but you want to expand it with like-minded individuals. So those that are interacting with marketing, those that are asking questions, are some of the most valuable people at an event to talk to. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong, you're going to have your share of people that are time wasters or vampires. That just goes with the game. I'm always willing to give somebody a good 20, 30 minutes talking to them about their business or our business, or trying to help them and go from there. But the thing is, if you start hanging around too many people, or especially going to meet at events on a regular basis that aren't valuable to you, you're going to run into like, oh, that wasn't really worth my time. Okay. Be, as I would like to say, be very mindful of what your hours encompass. Be very mindful of what you're focused on. If you're doing something that's not going to help you with raise capital, find deals, or help you with marketing, it's probably not worth your time unless it's downtime. Now, of course, you got taxes to take care of. You've got vendors. I hate doing paperwork. Okay. That stuff has to be done. So those are the things that go in. I say doing business is a part of that. So take the time. A lot of times I'll wait till the end of the day, do paperwork, and I'll do it all at once after 5 o'clock. So sign off on it, scan, whatever the contracts can be created. I'll do those after 5 o'clock and go from there. But I don't like to do them during the day unless I absolutely have to. All right. Any questions, comments, concerns out there, guys? Anybody out here struggling with their schedule? Struggling to be focused? I know it's a busy time of year. I know we are looking at our schedule like, oh my gosh, at least I am. And there's some events that we went to this year that we probably won't go back to next year. It's not anything bad against the event. It's just that, hey, let's shake it up a little bit. Shake it up, Betty. Let's shake it up some. All right. But one of the most valuable things I can tell you guys too here is, as I mentioned this, schedule your vacations, schedule your trips. Take some time to recharge every quarter, every 3 months, every 4 months, at least, and probably at least once a year. Book something that's going to be kind of nice. Whether it's a cruise or a getaway, book something nice with your loved one, your spouses. It'll help more than anything else, because I guarantee we all get in the habit of just knows the grindstone, and sometimes you got to come up for air. Okay, and this is why we like to try to do our masterminds either in nice sunny Florida, a nice resort where people can relax, or around another event like we did with Quest Expo this year, to really help our mastermind members and coaching students really kind of kill two birds with one stone with one trip. So, but if there's no questions or comments, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Note Closure Show. Once again, you control your schedule. You control your schedule. And I will tell you this one thing. Nobody is going to value your time until you start valuing your time. People will flake on you. People will not value it. They'll show up late until you take control of your schedule and your time. That's the best way to help you capitalize on your time. Too many times people will flake on you, not be focused, and those are the people that you want to try to avoid at all if possible. So take control of your schedule, value your time, and then people will start to value your time as well too. So go out, make something happen, everybody, and we'll see you all at the top, everybody. Bye.